Today I'm joined by Managing Director of Sun Resources, Alex Parks. Alex, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Alex, give us a bit of an overview to you and your background.
I'm a petroleum engineer. I did the first 10 years of my career as a consultant, doing reserve auditing and field work all over the world. I was CEO of Otto Energy from 2006 to 2009. I went to Mosaic Oil in Sydney, where we got eventually bought out by AGL Energy. I went to Q in Melbourne and managed operations and joint ventures in New Zealand and in Indonesia. And most recently, I've taken on the managing director role at Sun, where we're rejuvenating a slightly old company and bringing it on board with a new project and a new lease of life.
You touched on Sun. Can you give us an overview as to Sun Resources, the company?
So Sun was in the unconventional space, and we've now changed with the change in the environment. We've switched to looking back towards conventional oil and gas. We've identified an area to the southeast of New Orleans, in the shallow water offshore there, that is a fantastic area that is a very prolific hydrocarbon province. In its history, it's produced over 1 billion barrels of oil and 5 TCF of gas. And we believe that there is opportunities to go back in there and produce small fields using the latest technology, particularly horizontal drilling.
Now, Alex, this week you're in town for the Good Oil Conference. How important are events like this to companies like Sun Resources?
The conferences are spectacularly important to us. We particularly love the Good Oil Conference. It gives us a chance to meet with and talk to our investors and present the story out there and attract new investors, but also to interact with our peers within the oil and gas industry. Sun has just recently, as in this morning, announced that we're ready to do look for farming partners for our project. And so I'll be talking to a lot of our peers at the oil and gas at the conference with a view to seeing if they're interested in joining us in our project as a farm-in. So it's great on both fronts.
And I understand you had an announcement this morning?
We did. It was a general update. It covered two principal things. One, we completed the site survey for the well that we've got planned for the first quarter of next year. And so we've finished all of the site surveying that we require to get all the environmental and drilling permits for that. And then secondly, we announced that we're ready to look for a partner to come in and join us. And so that's a dual part of the announcement.
Alex, what is the current landscape? What does it look like for oil and gas players in the United States?
The US is a very interesting place to do business. What we love about it is there's a great deal flow, there's lots of opportunities, and the cost base is particularly low. For Australian companies, and particularly listed companies, there is a niche that's available to companies like ourselves. A lot of the oil companies in the US split into two sort of sizes. There's either the small private oil companies, often mum and dad type sort of stuff, or J.R. Ewing. They tend to stick to the onshore areas. And then there's the big companies, the listed groups. And at the moment, those are focused on the unconventional space, and they're also focused on the deep water exploration, looking for giant targets. So the shallow water offshore area, where operations are a little bit more complicated, a little bit more costly, but still by comparison to Australia or internationally, very cheap. We see that there's an opportunity for companies like ourselves to have a real opportunity to find and explore and develop oil and gas fields.
Now, you touched on the work that you're doing in Louisiana. Can you provide us an update on what's happening at your Bowsprit project?
The reason we picked Bowsprit is that it is a small proven oil field. It flowed oil in the 1960s from vertical wells and produced 75,000 barrels out of what should be a few million barrels of oil in place. We see the opportunity to put a very simple horizontal well in between those former producers, put it on production and get some good cash flow. The more we look at the area and the surrounding opportunities, we see lots of opportunities to do similar things, and we're going to be looking to acquire further land and develop the project in that area.
And so lastly, to round out, what does the next 6 to 12 months look like for you and the team at Sun Resources?
Well, in particular, we're looking for partners at the moment to join us in the project with a view to be drilling in the first quarter of next year. If we are successful in flow testing that well, which we believe we will be because it's formerly flowed oil. Then we'll be looking to quickly bring that on production by tying it back to a nearby production facility or something similar. So hopefully over the course of the next 6 to 12 months, we should see ourselves drilling the first well and coming onto production and bringing in our first production and cash flow. So it will be a very exciting 12 months ahead.
Busy times indeed. Alex, thank you for joining me in the studio and good luck at the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.